Hi guys, so with the current situation I thought that I would bring my kitchen to you. Today I'm going to show you how to bone and roll a leg of lamb. We're going to sit that on a little mirepoix of vegetables and then I'm going to slowly braise that through the oven using stock. So I've got with me here a few items that we're going to be using. For a basic mirepoix I'm just going to be using a white onion, carrot, absolutely ruined because the dogs just walked through. Go away. Go. Hi guys, good morning. So obviously with the current situation we're not able to be cooking, whether we're working in the industry, working in pubs, restaurants or training in the college as catering students. So I thought I would try and bring my kitchen to you. So this demonstration or this short video we're going to look at how to bone and roll a leg of lamb. I'm going to show you how to prepare a quick basic mirepoix that we're going to sit in the base of our tray to elevate our leg of lamb when we slowly braise it through the oven. So I've got a few different ingredients here. I've got white onion, carrot, garlic and leeks. If you've got things like celery as well, that can be good. So obviously start off, make sure you've got your board, make sure your board's nice and secure and safe. Just put a damp cloth in underneath it. Have a little wastage bowl to your side and we're just going to start by peeling and preparing our vegetables. Once your onions peeled, take off your top. Nice sharp knife. Always try and put your flat surface just to secure. Straight down in half. It's just rough chop. Through it 3 times. Same again with the other. Nothing fancy. And then I'm just going to put that into my tray. Carrot, top, tail, cut down lengthways and then just roughly again into my tray. So these vegetables have been washed before I've used them. Make sure your vegetables are clean, especially when you're using things like leeks. You'll notice that you can end up with quite a bit of soil in amongst the layers. Sometimes best just take off that outer layer. Again, down in half. Lay your vegetables flat so that they're secure. Make sure your fingers are nice and safe. Keep it away from the knife. Again, pick it up, scatter it. All we're using that for is a little bed to sit our meat on once it's prepared. The last thing I've got here is a little bit of garlic. Going to give it one firm little crack and again work my way around and that garlic bulb will just pop out. Because it's big. So there's your garlic. I'm not going to do anything with this, just going to add them in whole just to help with the flavour. So now we're going to take a look at preparing this leg of lamb. I'm going to show you and demonstrate how to bone it, how to roll it, and then obviously we can add that onto our mirepoix. Now a few things that we need to be checking first. So quality points of the lamb. The information that I get from the actual label itself, always make sure that your lamb is within use by date. If you're going to identify on your menus that your lamb is from a particular place, then you need to make sure that you've got proof of that. You can find that out on your label, and then just general quality points of the meat itself. So we'll start by opening up the packages. Be careful, there is quite often some excess blood in there. You don't want that going everywhere. You'll notice that I've changed the colour of my board, so we're now on to raw, red for raw. Okay, and we'll take that little piece off there. So things to check with your lamb. Make sure that it's not sticky, should be quite a good firm texture. It should have a deep red colour. Obviously check the natural smell of the lamb itself. And always make sure that it is within its use by date. So what you'll see here is we've got the bone that comes out at one end, and then in here there is another bone. So what our job is to do is to try and find the direction of that bone and see if we can remove the meat. If you feel that your meat is starting to slide about a little bit, just get yourself a piece of kitchen roll, keep your board relatively dry, even dry the meat a little bit. This will help to prevent it from slipping and sliding all over your board. So I'm going to start from this knuckle bone. I'm going to make an incision, and the idea is use your fingers and try and find that bone. Use the tip of a nice sharp knife. You can be using a boning knife. Currently in a situation all my knives are at work, so I'm using what I've got, but it is a nice sharp knife. And you'll see there I've just started to make an incision where I can start to find that bone. As soon as you've found and located that bone, use the tip of your knife and you're looking at running down the sides of that bone. Can be a little bit fiddly, can take a little bit of time, but just follow that bone structure. I'll try and work so that you guys can see as well. I'm just coming down the side of this bone, and what you'll notice is that once you've worked this first bone, it starts to turn. So we need to work in around. Once you get down low enough, you can get in under the bone. Be careful, mind your fingers. Then we can get hold of this part of the bone. Once we've got hold of that, you continue. You're coming down to finding this other bone. Find the way that that runs. Come down along the side of it. If you've ever filleted fish, it's exactly the same. You're moving and you're following that same bone structure and just removing the flesh around from the outside of those bones. Once you get down low enough on either side of the bone, it will allow you to then start cutting in under. If I can open this out, you can start to see that's the line that I'm following down in through there. The hardest part is this right in the centre, right where the knuckle or where the two bones join. Then you need to just be under, work underneath. Then once you've got hold of it, you can just slowly work your way around that knuckle disconnecting the meat from the bone. There we go, that's the bone removed. I'm going to colour that up and then I'll show you how to make a lamb stock. So at this stage, once you've removed the bone, you will see that there's going to be excess bits of skin and sinew and fat that we don't want. So again, just take time, remove some of these unwanted excess pieces. Try not to take any of the actual flesh away from the meat. This one's actually not too bad. Just run your fingers. Sometimes you'll feel there's little hard elements or parts of cartilage that just need to be removed. Obviously, the less bits that we have in it once it's cooked, the easier you'll find it to cut up, carve, depending on whether you're braising or you're roasting. So essentially, that is our boned leg of lamb. And in the next part, I'm going to just show you how to tie this using butcher string, ready for roasting or braising. So now this leg of lamb is ready to be seasoned and rolled. So in here I've just got a combination: salt, pepper. Make sure you always season the inside of your meats, the outside of your meats. It's just going to draw out the flavour. Okay, season, salt, pepper. One length. This can be done in a few different ways, but I like to do it with one length of string. I'm going to try and imagine what sort of shape I want to try and achieve. So this little flappy end piece, I'm just going to tuck that in, fold that round, and my target is to try and tie this piece of meat so that it ends up looking like that. I generally start at the end that's the most difficult to hold together. So by running under the meat, come across on this edge, give yourself, go one, under two, under three, and what that does is when you pull that tight, I can almost let go and it still holds that knot. So then I'm just going to do a single granny knot, tie that down. Okay, leave that little piece at the moment, you might need it. So then I'm going to continue with my one piece of string. I'm going to put my finger where I want the next ring to go around the meat. I'm going to take it to there, come round my finger, hold the meat and tuck right the way round underneath. Pulling this piece of string out. I'm then going to go under where I've just left and held that piece. Pull that through and then pull that down tight. That holds that piece into position. And then for every place that you want that string to go, you just put your finger, wrap it round, go under the meat, back through that little hole that you've kept, pull it through, hold it tight. Okay, we'll do that until we get to the end. To be fair, it's quite a nice shape, this one, so that will probably hold it. So again, there you can see that once I turn that over, I've managed to hold that in the shape that I was aiming to try and achieve. To tie it off, you can just come back under one of the pieces of string that you've already had fed along the bottom, pull it through, keeping your line tight all the time. Trim your string, turn it over and finish with the last little sprinkling of seasoning. So to make the stock from the bones that we've removed from our piece of meat, I've prepared a couple of extra bits. So in this bowl is just again a basic mirepoix. In here I've got white onions, leeks and carrots. I've also made up a small bouquet garni. I haven't got any fresh herbs with me today, so I've just used dry herbs. I've wrapped it up in a little tiny leek leaf, tied it with a piece of leek, and we're just going to use that like a tea bag to infuse flavour into our stock. Over the far side here, so you can see, I've got a jug of boiling water, and I've already taken the bone that we removed from the meat, placed it on a tray, and I'm colouring that to try and get that brown through the oven. This is how we're going to be making a brown stock. So I'm just going to empty clean pan, get that pan onto the stove. I'm going to go in with the vegetables. You've got different options. We can colour this a little bit if you want like quite a nice darker, slightly stronger flavoured stock, or we can just add these ingredients with our water and then extract the colour from the bones that have browned. So I'm going to go straight in with my water, with my onions, my celery, not my celery, my onions, my carrots and my leek in the oven. Been in there now for about 15 minutes. You can see it starts to get lovely and coloured all on the edges. Carefully fry that off your tin, and then we're going to add that, fold it around and get that into our pan. And all of those charred brown caramelised bits of meat, the flavour from that is then going to go and infuse and get into your stock. Allow that to come up to the boil, then we're going to add a little bit more water just so that that bone is fully covered, and then we're going to allow that to simmer for roughly an hour, or until it's extracted the flavour out of all of the vegetables and the meat. Just going to top it up a small amount. That will make you a basic stock, which I'm then going to be later on turning into the sauce for the dish that I'm producing. So I'm now going to seal off the meat, ready so that we can cook it and braise it through the oven. I've made up just a pint of vegetable stock. Obviously I've already got my lamb there ready to go. I've got a frying pan, and in the frying pan I've added a small amount of oil. I'm just going to bring that up to temperature. My stock is still there. It's now come up to the boil. My bouquet garni, I'm now going to add that into my stock. Just let that sit there, and like I said before, it acts like a tea bag, extracts just more of those herby flavours into your stock. So now that the oil is hot, I'm going to take my meat. Make sure that your mirepoix just stays in your tray. Nice hot pan. looking for that to make a little bit of a thin sound. We're just trying to seal the meat. I'm going to rinse my hands. This helps to start to caramelise the outside of the meat, adds flavour, helps to start to seal in those juices. So just make sure you keep moving this side to side, get it still all the way around all of the edges. Once you're happy with the colour on the top side, we're going to roll it over. See the colour, look at the colour. We're not looking at cooking this through, just season. So now that that's sealed, turn off the heat. I'm going to take my pan over to my mirepoix. I'm going to get that sat back on top. I'm simply just going to add the stock. I'm then just going to cover the meat with a piece of greaseproof paper and foil. This is then going to go into the oven. We're going to look at cooking this for anywhere for 2.5 hours. Relatively slow. I'm on gas mark, so I'm cooking this on gas mark 5. You're looking at about 170, 175 for anywhere from 2 even up to 3 hours. We want this to braise low and slow. By the time it's cooked, it will be falling apart, melting in your mouth. This is then going to go into the oven, preheated oven,